claim that they know the Bible because they've read it enough to understand that, okay, Esau isn't the white man. He's, his lineage and his descendants, they all died somewhere in the Middle East, so his nation is extinct. Or, people may just go off of Google because, I mean, nowadays people are just so oblivious and ignorant to the point where they just use AI for everything. ChatGPT isn't just used for homework, it's used for Bible answers as well. So today we're going to be going over who is Esau according to the Bible, and we're going to get everything thus saith the Most High via the scriptures. Now I know it's been a minute since I posted on this channel, but I will make it something that I do regularly through the Spirit. So, we get straight to the point, right? This is Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. It says, "And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived." So Isaac here was married to Rebekah for a minute, and during his time with being married to her, he noticed that she was barren. Um, and that happens mainly through intercourse. When you go in unto your wife, you'll know if she's barren or not. And Isaac noticed that she was barren, so he entreated the Most High. And after that happened, Rebecca was able to conceive and bear children. But important thing to know here is when it says that Isaac entreated of the Most High for his wife, it doesn't actually mean that he spoke directly to the Most High, because that's impossible. No man on earth can speak to the Most High face to face because you would die. And even the top man that the Most High was even dealing with even told Moses, because he was that top man, he said, "Moses, I can't speak to you face to face." He showed his back to Moses, and that's in Exodus. But the whole thing is that you cannot talk to the Most High on earth because Most High's glory is too great. The only person who's able to speak directly to the Most High is Yahweh Shai and the angels, which are his messengers. But going back to Isaac right here, it says when he entreated of the Most High for his wife, that's talking about that he went to a prophet. Now, it may seem a little bit weird here in First Samuel chapter 9 and verse 9. It's going to explain to you that this is a normal thing for us to do. That's why it doesn't necessarily say. So as you read through the Bible, you'll understand more that these things were happening kind of regularly in the Word. So one of the things that happened was in First Samuel 9 and 9, it says, "Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of Yahweh, thus he spake, Come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer." So during the time of Isaac, right, you had seers. Nowadays it's prophets. And they went to those prophets and they would ask them to go and talk to the Most High and to go and receive visions, because the Most High was dealing with the seers heavily. So they would receive visions a lot to the point where it was kind of natural for that to happen, or normal. And so in Isaac's situation, he went and he told this seer, "I need you to go and inquire of the Most High so that my wife can be able to have children." And so that eventually happened. But the point here is that we would go and we'll talk to these men of the Most High for instructions in the ways that we would move on in the future. And in this context here, Saul was trying to search for his father's donkeys, and he ended up coming across Samuel because Samuel was the seer at the time. So that's besides the point, though. But going back to the book of Genesis, chapter 25, read verse 21 again. It says, "And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived." So now Rebekah is able to have children, right? "And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord." Again, so she's going to go talk to a seer to see what's going on, because now that she has children, she feels the children struggling together within her womb. The struggle, right? It goes into the definition when you look it up in the Strongs. It goes into fighting. So the children were fighting in Rebecca's womb, and we know that when women are pregnant, the child moves within their womb, and that can cause, a little bit of discomfort. But these children are fighting within her womb. They don't kicks and punches. You got to really immerse yourself into this time to understand like what's going on. You can't just read this like an NPC and just say, "Oh, they're struggling in the womb," and then you read on to the next verse. Immerse yourself in this chapter so that you can really get the full understanding of what's going on here. So to struggle, as I just said, means to fight. So these children are fighting in Rebecca's womb, and you can obviously imagine how much pain she's feeling as she's going through all this. And so she's inquiring of the Most High through a prophet, and she's saying, "What's going on?" So the Most High responds to her through this prophet, and verse 23 says, "And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." So right here is prophecy through the prophet that's telling Rebecca this. And we know that these are twins in her womb. Because in 24 it says, "And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb." So, I mean, when there are twins in a mother's womb, they're pretty much the same. But the prophet just told Rebecca that they're going to be two different people. How often does that happen? This is a once in a lifetime moment in history where you see twins being classified as two distinct separate people. If anything, nations. It definitely takes divine intervention for that to happen. And divine intervention comes from the Most High. So I'll read verse 23 again. "And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." So right here, you can already see the separation happening. "And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau," meaning that Esau's complexion was red. Now, what people that are a little bit experienced within translations, what they'll do is they'll say that the word red means ruddy. Yes, it does translate to ruddy, but there are two different meanings here. That's why it doesn't say that Esau was ruddy, it says he was red. Now, it's important to understand what the word ruddy means and what does it represent. Basically, it means that you have glow in your skin and your skin is vibrant and it's healthy. If you're red, your skin is translucent. What does it mean to be translucent? It means to basically have see-through type of skin. You can see that even through people who have like pale, really pale skin. They have like little like green veins. Like that's specifically exclusive to them, and that is unnatural. Like I said, ruddy means healthy skin. For instance, the Native Americans, right? They have red skin, tan skin, I'd like to say. But their skin is healthy. You don't see their skin isn't translucent. Esau is known to have, hair, a lot of hair. And even hair in parts of their body that they shouldn't have. You can even look up on Google man with hair on his face, all over his face specifically, and it'll show what a white man. And they can grow it, a lot of it on their hands, their forearms. Like that shouldn't be happening. That's not normal. While it says, "And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 60 years old when she bare them." And you can see that it doesn't give really any account on how Jacob looked, because it's pretty much telling you that if you are coming out red or with pale skin, that's unnatural in the ancient world. Which is how you know that the people who were in the ancient world, they didn't have skin as is depicted on the art in the museums where they're white men. That's off. That's, if anything, iconoclasm, and it is, because they painted Yahweh Shai to be a white man, and that's not even Yahweh Shai. That's Caesar Borgia. They portray these prophets of the Most High who really look like us to be white men, which is blasphemous and it's absolute folly. And this is why this man has to be destroyed, right? It says that And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So when they were fighting in the womb, right? When Esau came out, Jacob's hand took hold on Esau's heel, representing that Esau was going to be the end of the world, and then Jacob was going to come after him. Now you can read about that in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 8. You can get this really fast. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See that? So when Jacob's hand took hold of Esau's heel, it represented Esau coming out of power, which is happening right now, because Esau has been in power for 250 plus years, really. But 2026 marks Esau's 250th year being in power since they gained so-called independence from Britain in 1776 on July 4th. But we know that they've been in power way longer than that. And I'll be getting into all the times Esau was in power, from Greece and Rome and Britain. I'll be getting into that in my future videos. But they have been in power longer than 250 years. And we do know that each kingdom that has ruled upon the earth around the 250-year mark is when they collapsed. Going back to the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse number 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So, as you can see here, Esau is a cunning hunter, right? When you look into just plain, very, very plain attributes of a white man, they're known for what? Going hunting out in the wild. You do not see a black man in the goddamn wilderness talking about, hey, brother, look what I just caught. That is not something that you see happening. Who's the person that you see getting bit up by all these goddamn insects and beasts of the field? Coyote Peterson. But guess who he is? He's a Edomite. So there is no getting around it. Esau is the white man because he's a cunning hunter. And who loves to hunt more than the white man? And who loves to go out in the field more than the white man? Who likes to go hiking and go rock climbing in the highest mountains, risking their lives on a daily basis? And they are the same people that you see walking with a suitcase, slick back hair, and a black suit on. So the next precept I wanted to get right. Esau had wives, and it's important to know that his lineage is still here to this day. We're going to go to the book of Genesis chapter 36 to get his wives and their names, because it's important to understand that Esau had wives and that he had children by these wives. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 36 and verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau. I mean, that Esau didn't just die after you saw him in the book of Genesis chapter 25 through 27. Esau, even after he died, had an inheritance through his children, right? So it says, now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Bashemoth, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. So these are three wives that Esau had. When you go to the book of Genesis chapter 36 and jump down to verse 40, this is going to get into something that is completely unavoidable, because if Esau is not the white man, you're going to have to break this down for me. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau, according to their families, after their places, by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jeheth, Duke Aholibama, Duke Elah, Duke Penan, Duke Kenaz, Duke Teman, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magdiel, Duke Iram, These be the dukes of Edom according to their habitations in the land of their possession. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. Come on. Who are the dukes now? You still have them today. Y'all can look up the dukes of Europe and you will see names being listed. I can't name them all, but they are the dukes of Europe. And they run England and they run Britain. And they're the top of the pretty much one of the top of the food chains when it comes to commanding Britain. And you don't see them often, but when they do show their faces, they are men of renown in their country, and they get it from the Bible. And if anything, it's never stopped. It actually continued from all these years until now. So if the white man is not Esau, then why is it saying here that Esau had dukes? And you can see plain as day today that Esau, the white man, has dukes in Europe. There you go. These are the things you can use to explain that the white man is Esau. There is no other way around it. And if anybody tries to disagree with that, then hey, listen, man, you disagree with the Most High in the scriptures. But I pray that this video was edifying. I didn't want it to be too long. Yahweh Shem Yashab Shalom.